Have Halo content creators ruined Halo? Are we here because of people like me? I want to dig into this. Like, I've had a lot of conversations about this off screen with friends, and I want to play devil's advocate. Like, did we really cause this as a content creator, right? Do you think that they're personally responsible for hurting the story, for hurting the launches, the gameplay, the betas, the team's morale even? And can you apply this to other fandoms? Like, did Star Wars get ruined because of Star Wars fans and content creators, and the, I guess, liability, the accountability is off Disney and off the creators and developers? Can you apply this to Jurassic Park? Can you apply this to any franchise that has kind of gone down in quality and quantity over the years? And also, are we just talking about Halo content creators? Because there's other content creators that don't ever talk about Halo except for in a blue moon. And do what they say have influence on what happens, right? Well, we're going to talk about a lot of these things today, a lot to discuss. But rumors are right now that Halo Studios has low morale. The team has low morale, recently at least, on one of the projects. It was in crisis mode, allegedly. And personally, I try to steer clear of attacking any individuals or their names. I don't want to bully anyone or make them feel bullied. Sometimes I just have to say their name because it's the news. I prefer to cover good news on individuals, but sometimes I just have to say the name because they're a big person in the company that made a big decision. And I think that when you come down to it, are people like me saying negative things enough and often enough where the team that is making Halo, are they getting their feelings hurt? And this is in fact a valid thing. From what I've heard, the only thing I've heard of this was that there was people that were watching some of my videos, people that were not very high up on the leadership ladder, that were agreeing with what I said. Sometimes there was a couple of disagreements from what I heard. There was one specifically back in the day, but there was generally, I think, agreement with a lot of the people doing the more grounded work on the game, right? Now, I think content creators, generally, I'm biased here, I think we're just fans. We also do have something unique about us, which, I don't think many people want to talk about, but it is to get views. Our motive is to get views, ad revenue, sponsors, to be generally liked in the community, if possible. And ironically, I think when you try to crowd please, I think that comes with some negatives, probably, and in the eyes of Halo Studios, I think that this is the point of their community managers and other community roles to kind of digest what people are saying and doing and expressing, whether it's my videos or other people's videos, and transfer that large feedback to the company. I think this really falls into the lap of just a few people, but I could be wrong about that. There's also another coin, another side of the coin, which is when you try to basically get special perks. Like, I saw this a lot back in the Halo 4 and 5 days. I've been mostly blacklisted. I think I still am technically. But when you are a content creator and you lie and you praise a Halo game for special benefits like products, a tour and flight into the studio, free stuff, free things, early release game, obviously that was a big one back in the day, then I know for a fact, personally, you are not helping anyone but the studio. In my frame of mind, I always thought that it was way more beneficial, and this is just me putting it out on my card, showing my cards on the table. It is way more beneficial for me to be appealing to you guys, the viewers, and other Halo fans than the studio itself. So I've always wanted to be honest, and not only that, I think it is important to be critical, but also give praise when it's deserved, right? When 343 does things right. Like, I'm not saying that I've always had the right opinion, and I think, obviously, opinions are just opinions, but I do want to praise 343 and Halo Studios when they do good things. And I get a lot of backlash on it, and I say good things and negative things, and I try to be as neutral. Of course, I'm going to be biased in some ways. Now, we do know that community managers basically digest public information, but there's also surveys that are basically pushed and pinged to people through their emails quite often if you sign up for them on Waypoint. And you can actually give very long surveys, basically statistics statistical information about what your opinion is on the balance of the game, how it plays, and things like this. So they actually have pie charts to look at as to what fans think. So I strongly recommend those if you want to have some influence on a game. But there's also testers, content creators specifically, all different sizes that have worked on Halo that have been basically known as forerunners. They have provided feedback and playtesting and early access, and I don't know how much really they've been able to influence the game, and I don't know if they did give bad advice in some areas and if it even made it in, so I can't say for sure, but clearly I think Halo Infinite took a much better direction than it did in Halo 4 and 5, and I think they took the Foreigner program pretty seriously after Halo 4 and 5, so I think it actually did have some improvement. Obviously there are big issues with Halo Infinite, which we are all aware of, I don't need to repeat them, but yeah, there are foreigners out there, content creators that have had very special access and very granted some kind of rank of being able to give some weight into what happens next. But generally, I decide to not talk about certain topics like woke stuff very often. I'm saying woke just so you know what I mean, but like that stuff. Currently, because there doesn't seem to be much evidence of it being a problem in Halo yet. Unlike other studios and other games, if I was something else follower, then I would probably have to be talking about it quite a bit. There is personal examples of people virtue signaling at Halo Studios, and that will definitely hurt the game, I think, in some ways, but maybe not. We have only seen those big examples after Halo Infinite's release. But ultimately, I have rather see some of those things in the game than what we saw before Halo Infinite, which was just a lot of management issues. Nothing about it was woke or, virtue signaling. It was just rough stuff. There is a difference between having religious and political messages or things in your story that are there for sake of storytelling versus things that we've seen more lately in media where it's just outright preaching or trying to pander to a certain group or political messages that they're clearly trying to manipulate you and manipulate your emotions into believing. Whereas I think Bungie did this really well back in the day as far as saying that religion can be dangerous. It also didn't really try to tell you that outright. It was actually pretty tactful. You could see that as maybe some kind of manipulation, but I think most people would agree it was just good storytelling, and I genuinely think that's all it was just an alien religion that got out of hand, right? Where this comes into the point of content creators is I think Judgment Day will be upon myself and many other people when things like this begin to crop up in Halo games. Now, maybe the political and I guess social aura and atmosphere of things right now, at least in the US, are shifting more so in the balance maybe. But I do think if we do see stuff that people fear, like preachy, pandery, or provocative political messages that are trying to manipulate you and I into believing or doing something, then we're gonna have a problem. I think that it's rather sad when content creators choose to say that there is no problem and gaslight their entire audience when there clearly is an issue. You can say that there's not much of an issue, but to say that they're all wrong and that they're making stuff up and they're all a part of some kind of grifter crowd, I think is really dumb. And I think content creators are going to have some big play in this, just like how we've seen over in Star Wars. I think what I'm really trying to get at here in this section is that creators that tend to agree with the crowd do so because they know that it is a popular sentiment amongst fans, which I think is more positive than just aligning yourself and saying everything is great, shut up, and dismissing all the complaints and negative things and worries that legitimate people have. Like, these are legitimate feelings, valid concerns, and I think creators should be more honest, even if it is against the studio. And I think that generally is going to take more courage than to do the opposite, right? Maybe not, though, because people will tear you apart, as I have seen personally before. But I feel like most fans would agree with the basics, right? Like, don't recast Chief or Cortana. That's something I've never suggested or even thought of until I heard that they tried to do it. I want playable elites in every game, and we haven't seen them in over a decade. We want a complete launch, right? I think everyone, including me, can agree with that. We want a complete game at launch. And if it's not going to be complete at launch, I am going to bitch and complain. We generally agree that Halo's core mechanics are fun, I think most people are on the same page about that. I don't think Halo needs to become Call of Duty. Never thought it did. In fact, I think that was its strength, but it tried to do it anyway, right? And I never wanted that. I never requested that. And also just the art style, no one wanted that to change. I think most people loved it. There's just so many executive decisions coming out from 343 that I don't think I have ever heard one single content creator request or say that would be nice to change. In fact, a lot of content creators, I think, are in the position of reactionary. Most of them have actually disappeared. So who is exactly in control here? Because I think pretty much all the content creators, the old school ones from Halo 4 and 5, are gone doing better things because they won't listen to them. They won't listen to me. And it's also kind of funny because if you do blame content creators for all the bad things they have done to Halo, you're also blaming, like, taking all the credit actually for all the hard work the team did do right for Halo, which I don't feel comfortable with taking credit for all the good things that were in Halo Infinite. I had no influence on that. They still had to make decisions. They had to fight for those things internally. They probably had countless arguments amongst themselves and executive decisions and changes and had to fight for things, right? Stay up late hours. And to say that I'm going to take credit for that is silly, just the same way that I think complaining about something that is obviously bad, like recasting Chief or Cortana, should not be done. Why are they doing it anyway, right? Because clearly I'm not in control. I think this frustration that Halo content creators ruined Halo is a valid frustration. I don't think it's correct, but I think the frustration is a valid feeling. And I think it stems from this disconnection from being a content creator. Like, people don't have speed dial to Microsoft executives or 343 people, maybe a community manager, but I don't have any input, as far as I know, unless the whole studio is sitting around analyzing my commentary like this one, which they're not. I don't think I have any kind of influence, because if we did, I don't think we would have half these issues. We would have different issues, but not these issues, right? If I was someone in charge of what happens next to Halo anyway. But maybe I'm just rambling, but maybe that's why you guys are here. Most fans are way more in touch with the franchise, I think. I think the sentiment is so negative because of the things that happened, not because people have complained about it and then bad things happened. Like, I complained about the TV show after it came out. I was actually pretty optimistic before. And before, you can't find me anywhere saying that I want John Circumference Chief to take his helmet off for the entire show. Where did I say that? Because I don't remember ever saying or wanting that at all. I understand that the helmet is the face of the Spartan, right? Generally speaking, I think that the visor is the window into their soul as a Spartan, as a soldier, right? Anyway, I'm rambling. But anyway, of course, Halo content creators have unpopular opinions sometimes. I can't think of any at the moment, but I'm sure they are there. But have those even made it into the conversation? Like, did I ever personally ask for no Forge at launch? Did I ever ask for infinite microtransactions, grind walls, and for Cortana to blow herself up off screen, or all these other left field ideas? I think for a fact that 343 purposely hired people who hated Halo to improve Halo is silly. They did that. No one wanted that. I don't remember anyone ever requesting that, or in personal conversations like, oh, you know, Halo is really bad. I wish there were more people at Halo Studios that were working there that knew that the franchise was broken in its core. It needed to be fixed, right? We needed to find people that didn't like Halo so we could make it appeal to them. And then what about the fans? I don't know. I guess they just disappear into better franchises then, like they have done. So it has worked. This is not what I wanted, and it's not what I requested. So obviously, I'm on the side of no Halo content creators. Did not ruin Halo. I do not think that anything Mint Blitz or Hidden Xperia or Actman or any of these other people could say would carry so much influence all the way up past launch into the game and actually ruin it, right? And for any doubters that think that I do have a lot of influence with Halo or Mint Blitz or Actman or other content creators do have a significant sway, then it would be a good time to go make a YouTube channel and put in your own input. If those people actually think that, then you have a chance. At least they could believe that they have a chance at actually fixing Halo by talking about it. And if enough people agree with them, they'll probably start watching their videos and gain some traction like I have here. But I don't think it has a whole lot of impact. I wish it did. But I do know one thing for certain. It's not just Halo content creators that have been negative about Halo. You can see people like Moist Critical and Asmongold being very critical, for example, of the Halo TV show, as well as Fire343 pushing those kind of things. I believe Asmongold did that as well. But there was also other content creators and a lot of people. I don't even think content creators like myself got very much close to that movement, even though I do think it ended up working. I don't think content creators like myself wanted to be directly responsible for people losing their jobs. But at some point, what do you do? If you have someone that should not have been hired there, that is not doing a good job, what do you do and what do you request as a fan, right? I think it's only natural to want to get someone new in a position and to not have that other person there anymore, right? So anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I could probably make another video on this. It's an intriguing subject, and I think I have a unique perspective to share. There's a lot of stuff I could probably add to this. So what do you guys think? I'll see you in the next one soon. Be sure to smash that like button blue, and you guys take it easy.